Today, we saw stocks come crashing lower, and we see the NASDAQ breaking key critical levels. We see the S&P 500 breaking key critical levels. And when we look at the heat map, essentially nowhere to hide. So what should be expected tomorrow after the non-farm employment numbers come out? Now, if we come over and look at the fear and greed index, we definitely have fear in the market. This is one of the lowest readings we've seen in quite some time. We are in extreme fear with a reading of 9. And just to show you guys how bad this actually is, if we look back here at the timetable, I don't see any time period within the last year where the fear and greed index has been all the way down over at 9. Then as we come over and look at the most recent investor sentiment survey, once again, the bullishness came down here just a bit with a reading of 21.8. And look at the bears jumping up to the highest reading we've seen, 61.9. The undecided, the neutral, very, very small margin at this point. Now, when we come over and look at how the indices fared across the board, the Dow was down 1,373 points. The NASDAQ was down 913 points. S&P 500 down 230 points. In the Russell 2000 down 11.79. Look at advanced initiatives versus declining. We had 81% of issues declining on the day. Then as we come over and look at the sectors, only one sector was in the green, consumer defenses, and it was only in the green by 0.56. Everything else out there, absolute bloodbath out here. If we come over and look at the heat map once again, notice we have Amazon down 8.98%, Tesla down 5.47%, Nvidia down 7.77%, and Apple down 9.32%. Meta also down 8.96%. So essentially with the Mag 7 stocks absolutely getting destroyed. Look at Nvidia down here, breaking through key critical levels. Nvidia right now trading at $101. So are there further declines likely to come? Something we've been talking about in the SPY when we come over and we look at the weekly chart, and that would be we had this double top pattern, top number 1, top number 2, and then now we look right down 536.76. So is that all she wrote, or is things about to get worse from here? Look at the MACD indicator on the weekly chart. Looks extremely horrible at this moment. Then we look right here. Could tariffs trigger a stock market circuit breaker? Here's how much further the S&P has to fall. Now, in case you guys are new to the stock market has circuit breakers in place. If indices fall a certain amount, they will basically quit trading to try to calm markets down a bit. The first level is going to be a 7% drop. We get a 15-minute halt. Level 2 would be a 13% drop. We then get another 15-minute drop. And if we hit 20%, we're basically done for the rest of the day. Now, with that being said, for those of you that are out there trading with prop firms, you want to pay attention to what the price limits are. For instance, my friend of futures sent me this email earlier today as the market volatility picked up. Watch out, we cannot trade within 2% of those limits. Now, 2% of that would be essentially don't trade if we are down 5%, stop trading. Then Take Profit Trader sent out an email. We can trade right up to the limit amount, but they also gave us a link right here at the bottom of this email so you know where that price point is. Right here, they say a 7% price change. So within 7% of the market being down, we need to be out of our positions. So if you guys trade with prop firms like Take Profit Trader or My Funded Futures, you want to make sure you guys get the best deal out there. Use the links in the description box down below. And right now, Take Profit Trader is 30% off and no activation fee. So here's a question that a lot of people are probably asking themselves. Will tariffs stick? Trump's history of threats suggest maybe not. And if we scroll on down here through this article here just a bit, look right here. After unveiling a tough round of tariffs back in 2018 with a no exemption pledge, Trump essentially caved within days. So is the stock market going to force Trump's hand to maybe back off on some of those tariffs? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Now, let's talk about what is in store for tomorrow. 8:30 a.m. We have the average hourly earnings. We have the non-farm employment change. We have the unemployment rate. Then guess what? Are we going to get some news from Jay Powell at 11:25? Jay Powell is going to be taking the podium. Is he going to go ahead and be dovish out there, letting us know that, hey, maybe the Fed is here to save the day? Now, let's talk about what we expect with the non-farm numbers. They're expecting us to create 137,000 new jobs, unemployment rate to be 4.1%. Well, if we look at this graph right here, we can see if the data is much weaker, meaning non-farm employment numbers come in less than 80K and the unemployment rate ticks up to 4.2, expect stocks to go up, dollar and yields to go down. What if it comes right in line at 139,000 to 80,000 with the unemployment rate at 4.2%? Expect stocks to go sideways, dollar and yields to go down. If we come right in line with expectations, right around 140,000 jobs, 4.1 unemployment rate, expect stocks, dollar and yields to basically go sideways, and then stronger numbers, 141,000 to 200,000, and the unemployment rate drop into 4%. Expect stocks to go sideways, dollar up, yields up. And if we come in much stronger, expect stocks to go down, dollar and yields to go up. So if you're a bull in the stock market tomorrow, you may just wish for much weaker data, maybe at 11:25 when Jay Powell speaks. That'll give him a little bit more ammunition to go out there and support the stock market. Now, if we come over and look at the dollar index today, dollar index coming lower. However, we do have a little bit of a buying tail on the bottom of that candle. Then we look at the 10-year yield, also breaking through this support level. Then we come over and look at gold. You would think with the dollar going down, gold would be going up, but gold gets a bearish engulfing candle, almost coming right down to our first price target of essentially filling that gap. Just needed to go a little bit further. If gold continues to get weak from here, watch not only that gap being filled, but then maybe all the way down here towards 29.75. Then today we also saw crude oil getting destroyed out there. Massive down candle on crude oil. Crude oil was down 7% on this session, which for us, the consumer, will be good at the pumps. So when we come back over and we look at the S&P real quick, notice the SPY, right? We broke through the swing point. Now we have a large gaping gap, but look at the MACD indicator. As we came slamming down today, the MACD indicator, at least at this moment, is not confirming that move lower. The MACD indicator is not pushing to new lows. Then we come over, look at the 4-hour chart. What do we see? Also, huge MACD divergence setting up as price continues to push lower. Now, one thing I do want to pay attention to, if for some reason we get some type of positive news out there that can push stocks up, then we will want to watch for that gap to be filled. However, I got a target I'd rather watch in the meantime. If you're looking for a bounce, watch out for the bottom of this candle, this wick right over here on the 4-hour chart at about 546.91. Do we maybe come right back to there and then reject down, get everybody sucked in thinking that gap is about to be filled? On the 30-minute profiles, nasty gap down today, no looking back. MACD indicator is starting to flatten out down here at these lower levels. And tomorrow we'll get a hindsight to see, do we continue to push lower? One thing we got to ask ourselves, who wants to buy and hold over the weekend after the devastation we've seen in the stock market so far this? Now, as we come over and look at the 4-hour chart, notice this week in the S&P, we've had a 344 point range. That's absolutely massive out there. That is a very, very large range. And we have that large gap out there from yesterday. So now we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive candles down. And essentially that has been 344 points from the top to the bottom without a single up candle at this moment. Now, if we come over and start looking at the daily profiles, we can see that gap from last night. We did not come back and fill that gap, and we're closing right near the lows of the session. So is it likely that we're going to have more selling to come? One thing I do like is the fact that we close below value area low, and notice what we have setting up. We're going to have 2 consecutive untested point of controls. We have the point of control from today, 54.81.5. Then we also have that point of control from yesterday, 57.17.75. So highly probable that sometime tonight or tomorrow we make a push not only to value area low, but also up towards this point of control at 54.81.5. Now, as we come over and look at the QQQs real quick, we look at the weekly chart, target top number 1, top number 2, we have smashed that double top target. Then over here on the daily chart, what do we got going on? Huge MACD divergence. You can see we push lower with a gap down today. MACD indicator at this moment is not confirming those lower lows. Then on the 4-hour chart, we can see the MACD indicator cross to the downside. But again, the MACD at this point is at least higher than where it was over at this low over here. So we're going to see, do we get a bounce in the coming days? 30-minute chart, what do we got going on here? Closing near the lows of the session. MACD indicator starting to flatten out down here well below the 0 line, which could indicate we're about to get a bounce in this market, or maybe we just come right back up here towards gap resistance and then ultimately turn right back down. Come over and look at the NASDAQ futures. Look on the 4-hour chart. The entire range this week, 1,379.5 points. And we've done that basically straight down from yesterday. As soon as they announced the tariffs, boom, straight on down. Now, as you look at this right now, depending on how the profile finishes out tomorrow, right now we are trading below value area low off the 4-hour chart. We come over and start looking at the 30-minute profiles. Notice what we have going on over here. on the 30-minute chart, we are closing below value area low. Value area low coming in at a price point of about 18,796. Now, do I think we're going to come up and hit it today? Highly probable, because now we have 2 back-to-back days where we have not come back and tested value area low. So be on the lookout for that. Also, we're going to have 2 consecutive untested point of controls, 18,875 from today, then the 19,760 and a quarter from yesterday. Do we make it back up here and start testing some of these levels? Also want to remind you, tomorrow on the live stream, we're going to be giving away another Take Profit Trader account. So you want to make sure you're subscribed and you have the bell notifications turned on for all. Now, if you guys would like to also see which account size is best with Take Profit Trader and how to get more drawdown than what's actually advertised on the website, make sure to watch this next video right here.